The Deacon, often referred to as a proto-xenomorph, is a fascinating and enigmatic entity within the alien universe. This bipedal parasitoid alien, a preliminary type of xenomorph, displays several unique characteristics. Unlike the classic xenomorphs encountered on LV-426, the Deacon has human-like teeth, an erect bipedal posture, and notably lacks a tail. Its distinct head shape and the method of emergence from its host, using its pointed skull instead of the typical chest-bursting method, further differentiate it. Before we begin, I have a small request for you. If you enjoy my content, I invite you to join our community by simply clicking to subscribe to the channel. Your action, though small, propels these videos. I deeply appreciate your support. And now, it's time to begin. How did this unique creature come to exist? The Deacon's origins trace back to LV-223, a moon orbiting the gas giant Calpamos in the Zeta Reticuli system. Here, a facility housing prototypes of the ominous black liquid was found, which eventually led to the creation of this primitive xenomorph form. The black liquid, or pathogen, is intrinsically linked to the enigmatic engineers, a species believed to have seeded life on Earth and possibly across the galaxy. Their civilization's lore, albeit sparsely detailed in the main films, is expanded upon through deleted scenes from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. The engineers' role in the creation of the Deacon. The engineers, facing a dire crisis due to a decline in their reproductive abilities, encountered a parasitic creature resembling an octopus. This creature's interaction with one of the engineers led to the birth of the first Deacon, a pivotal moment in their history subtly hinted at in a mural within the black liquid storage chamber. This mural depicts the creature emerging from an engineer and suggests a relationship of reverence rather than predation or conflict. This is further corroborated by dialogue lines in the script where David, the android from Prometheus, translates symbols on the chamber doors that read the following. Only the chosen may enter. This ground is sacred and must remain so. Those who dare to tread on the sacred ground must be punished. This is the birthplace of our Lord, and no being is worthy. Additionally, David interprets symbols on a central statue. Our chosen, the one who created our Lord. This chamber is both the death place of the chosen engineer, the one infected, and the birthplace of the creature within, the first Deacon, revered as a lord by the engineers. The term Deacon itself, meaning a religious representative, underscores this reverence. The reason for their veneration is hinted at in the extended opening scene of Prometheus. An older engineer hands a container to a younger one. While their conversation lacks subtitles, the script reveals, "Take this, it is the blood of our Lord. Since we cannot create, for this gift was long ago taken from us, as always, we continue our attempts to create a perfect Eden like ours. You, the chosen, will do so in your own image." A liquid given to the chosen engineer is the blood of the first Deacon, described in the script as golden and visually distinct from the pathogen. It's housed in a different container and has different effects from the black liquid, indicating they are separate substances. This leads to another of David's lines. This is a place of rest, and our attempt to resurrect the blood of our Lord. The black liquid, or pathogen, is an attempt to recreate the original blood of the first Deacon. How does the mysterious black goo function as a catalyst in the genesis and evolution of these creatures? The pathogen's role is complex. Initially used in an attempt to recreate the blood of the first Deacon, it eventually served multiple purposes, including as a bioweapon. This potent substance causes varying effects depending on the host, leading to different types of mutations. Some result in parasitoid organisms like the trilobite and hammerpedes, while others lead to creatures with direct xenomorphic traits, known as anathemas. Interestingly, the pathogen's effects suggested might be akin to organic nanomachines, capable of adapting to the host and its environment. This versatility, far beyond that of a virus, was likely a key factor in its usage by the engineers. The Deacon's life cycle is equally intriguing. Originating as an endoparasitoid within an engineer, its gestation involved a chain of events starting with Elizabeth Shaw and the mutated trilobite. The Deacon's birth, emerging fully formed from its host, contrasts with the xenomorph's larval stage and suggests a distinct developmental path. What type of mutations are caused by the pathogen? Firstly, there are those that result in a parasitoid organism, attempting to replicate the xenomorph's life cycle's initial phase. The trilobite from Prometheus is a prime example. The hammerpedes, resembling both trilobites and facehuggers, also belong to this category. These non-anthropomorphic creatures are more mollusk-like. Another distant example is the spores that lead to neomorphs. These spores seem almost sentient and self-propelled, displaying characteristic flight patterns. They might actually be a swarm of minuscule insect-like organisms. Their vast anatomical differences from other embryo-implanting entities could be a result of David's experiments in mutating human tissues with samples from Planet 4, potentially creating a modified organism, like a hive or swarm. The extended cut of the film seems to support this idea. The pathogen adapts to the nature and composition of the infected organism, aiming to reproduce xenomorph life cycles. The second mutation category results in creatures with direct xenomorphic traits, named anathemas. Here, the pathogen shapes the host into a Deacon-like being, leading to the host adopting xenomorph features. These mutations progress through stages: vitiate, ague, lucis, and noctuous. A crucial aspect of the pathogen is its ability not just to mutate and destroy, but to create. In the comic Prometheus Fire and Stone, we can see how over a century, the moon from the film transforms into a jungle teeming with life. Here, the ecosystem evolves rather than undergoing uncontrolled mutation, guided by natural selection. This might be the real purpose of the substance. Although the engineers sought to harness it, they couldn't mitigate its dangerous effects. Life forms arising from this pathogen are generally extremely hazardous and aggressive. Taking into consideration all these factors, it seems that the pathogen could be a form of organic nanomachines. Its broad effects surpass those of a virus. Its capacity to recognize and adapt its response to the host implies capabilities beyond a virus, especially given the stark differences in responses. Additionally, the pathogen's independent movement ability excludes viruses, but aligns with a swarm of nanoparticles. The extended cut of Alien Covenant supports this, with David referring to the substance as a fluid filled with advanced nanoparticles acting like artificial intelligence. Based on this, the pathogen could detect not only a victim's composition, but also its surroundings, creating life from nothing or even altering an android, as seen in Prometheus Fire and Stone. In what ways does the Deacon's anatomy, behavior, and life cycle diverge from those of the traditional xenomorphs? The Deacon's anatomy has many similar features to the xenomorph, but is very distinct in comparison. Like the xenomorphs, it is bipedal with an elongated skull, but it lacks a tail and has no mouth-like tongue. Instead, it has a more primitive jaw mechanism akin to a goblin shark. Its skin resembles that of the xenomorph with an insectoid or reptilian appearance, although the Deacon has a distinct blue tone, whereas the others generally have a significantly darker tone with very little color. The Deacon appears to be a unique creature, though it might conceivably be regarded as the first of a new species. It developed as an endoparasitoid inside an engineer host, and was implanted inside this host by a creature known as the trilobite. The trilobite, in turn, gestated as an abnormal fetus within Elizabeth Shaw's womb, where it grew with frightening speed. It originated after Shaw's lover, Charlie Holloway, was infected by the black goo and passed the mutated trilobite sperm to Shaw. It was removed via C-section before it had fully grown and developed, yet it survived this procedure after Shaw left the area. She later returned to witness that, although she had removed the creature from her body, it had grown immensely in size. The fully grown trilobite had multiple tentacle-like appendages and skin that resembled that of a xenomorph's facehugger. The trilobite soon injected the engineer with a tube-like organ that implanted an embryo through the engineer's mouth. This behavior is similar to that of a facehugger. The trilobite even died after injection, much like a facehugger, indicating that the two are very likely related, though it has not been confirmed that this is the case. After a short while, the Deacon was born, bursting out of the engineer's body from his chest and abdomen, using its head to puncture and force its way out. This contrasts greatly to the xenomorph's method of birth, which is to burst out of the host's chest as a larva and undergo metamorphosis to become an adult. The Deacon appears to come out almost fully formed, although an adult Deacon has not been seen, so this is still speculative. It's not impossible to imagine that the adult Deacon might be as different from a typical xenomorph as the adult trilobite differs from a facehugger. In conclusion, the Deacon not only adds depth to the complex network of extraterrestrial life in the Alien series, but also raises questions about the nature and intentions of the engineers, as well as the possibilities of alien evolution driven by the black liquid. This being, emerging from a series of violent events and transformations, reflects the persistent theme of the series on creation, mutation, and survival in a hostile universe. Although its presence in the franchise is brief, the Deacon leaves a lasting impression as an intriguing link in the evolutionary chain of the Xenomorphs, enriching the already complex tapestry of the alien saga. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. We love hearing from our viewers, so please leave a comment and share your ideas for future videos. Thanks for your support, and we can't wait to see you again in our next video.